Righto, back out here. Monday, it's actually a public holiday, but not for me. Today, I'm going to try and sort this. This is probably going to take up a good part of the day, because I want to do whatever I need to do here for this to locate on, and I need to do something about locating this, because I don't like the thought of bolting this down and have it not move, particularly when it's cutting copper, because it's going to be sort of all the way up here. But what I'm thinking, but it's going to be hard to locate it properly, is put pins. Put two pins in the bottom here, drill them, tap them, or weld them, and then remachine it, and have it so that when it sits in there, it sits over that edge, and then so you just got to unbolt, sort of loosen it, lift it, drop it down, so when it's cutting, see, that'll sit up against that bottom edge. And then to do the cans, I'll just drill 2 holes here. So, and I'll probably do it up on the mill, because it'll be a bit more precise than trying to drill them by hand. And so I just drop it into the 2 holes. So it'll be doubly located. It'll be located on the centre here. And it'll have 2 pins. So this will stop it moving sideways, and the pins will stop it moving this way. So I think that's what I'm going to tinker with today. Hopefully I can get that knocked over today. We'll get it sorted today, and then I can start on doing also for the copper wire, because some of this is going to have to come out when it's up for copper, which will be up here, about there. I'm going to put a tube on the back here, or just a bit of round, and drill it, and make a new cutter. I'm going to, wherever I put that cutter, it's here somewhere in amongst all this shit. There. I'm going to make a new one with a hole at the back, a shear hole. So when you feed the wire through, you'll have a cutting edge for that, because when that's all the way down, that edge overlaps that enough, more than enough. So it's a bit hard trying to do this with the bloody my left hand, because I'm absolutely useless with my left hand. Yeah, see, it's going to be enough if I make cutting edge, because that's about as close as that'll get, and I'll make the hole up close to here. So just feed it through. Of course it'll be back down here. So anyway, I'm talking too much. I'll go and take this up. I'll work out some steel, and we'll come back and play. Alrighty, what I'm going to do is just use that, because I don't think the air mill's real crash hot. But it should be enough just to clean up in there, and just take a little bit of those welds out. And just clean it up, make it look a little bit better. And I probably should have stacked it on some parallels, which doesn't matter. Once I've machined that, I'll lift it up so I can drill through, because then when I put it up against the up on the other part, then I can just run a drill in there and mark it. So let me put you in the stand. Righto, let's see how we go. What do we want? Listen. Isn't that beautiful? Come down, I've marked this, the centers, the two holes to hold down, and I've marked it. It looks like it's not real square, I think it's the welds. But I've set that in there up against the cutter and then drew a line across it, and I've marked it for the 2 pins. And I sat here thinking what I'm going to use. Well, I drilled a couple of test holes. I have that piece of 8mm high-speed steel, round. I'm never ever going to use it. So what I'll do is I'll cut off, and that fits. I drilled it 7.5, and I found this end mill and run that down in there, and it fits. I've only pushed it in my hand, I can't get it back out, so that'll be good. That means I'll be able to cut the piece off and tap them in, and they'll stay. So that's good. So I'm going to go up there, and that way I can hold it like that. And I'm going to dial in the vise again so I can get it right. And I will drill holes and then machine the slot there for the guide in the middle. Righto, that's that part done. I took that down 10mm. So I'm going to go down and I'll chamfer those holes, take those burrs off. And I forgot to mention too, I was thinking when I bolted on the other thing, see, because you need these bolts to be able to move. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a slot in the guide, cut a slot, and I'm going to put a plate underneath that slides with this. So so when you want to move it, just pick it up, move it, and drop it in, tighten it up. So that's the plate underneath will slide. So I thought that's going to be the easiest way. So let me go and deburr this and sort it out. I'm not going to do that top here until I get the bolts, so I know what size to do. So yeah, stay tuned. Right, a new plan. Nothing wrong with this. This is fine. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a slot in the base there and make like a T-nut, so that'll fit through and up into here. So this will be a T-nut with 2 holes in it. And that's going to work a lot better because that'll slide with this underneath, and it'll have the slot in the plate there to guide it. So the slot's going to be the same width as that, so about 16mm. So there, I think that's going to work a whole lot better. I'm just going to go and set up, change the mill, put the cutter in there, stick that in and trim it down a little bit because it's a little bit thick. Not too thick, but I just want to trim the sides, make the sides even. Square the whole thing up basically, make it to a decent square, and then, because I'll need, you know, like a nice edge to take these measurements off. So I'll find your center and then I'll cover either side. I may even mill it. So I might clean it up, do it with the carbide, and then put the end mill in to do the down the sides there, because it's going to be better. We've already proved that 90-degree cutter doesn't do a real good job. So alright, stay tuned. Righto, got this in ready to go. I've got to knock this down a little bit, just so it's not overly thick, and that's 10. And I think the plate's got to go through is 9, so that's got to be, I'm going to make it 18mm to step, so throw in another 10mm for the base, so we needed about 28, and I think that's 36, so we'll take 8mm off that. Let's do it. I'll get this out. I'll take that out and centre it, and then I'll put the cutter in. That's probably a little bit longer. Oh, no, it's not actually. It's not at all. It's actually perfect length. So let me chamfer the back end first. That's pretty much spot on. Not quite there. Right, that's about halfway. So I'll zero that. Okay. That's 20 mil. And we need this to be I'll get the shit out of there so I can zero it. That needs to be, I don't know if you can see that, about 19 and a half. So same size as that basically. It's about say 19 and a half. Alright, let me get this down near size. This is quite a few cuts yet because you know, mil to mil and a half at a time, so it's all I can manage on this machine. So, righto, so there we go, all done, all chamfered, looks pretty. It almost fits, not quite, but I prefer that it barely starts, so I'll tune it up with a file. I'll just hit that one with a file or on the linisher. Just give it a touch. I had trouble getting the cutter to cut sideways properly, so I'd rather hand tune it to fit in there. So what I'm going to do now is go down, I will actually make it fit, and then I'll mark these two holes. I think that might do it for the day, and I'll come back out and do a little bit more tomorrow morning. I've got an appointment in the afternoon, but I can work for a couple of hours in the morning, so I might work at getting that drilled and tapped, and I'll get the other part unbolted and get up on here so I can do the slot in it. And I've got to machine a little piece of steel. No, I don't, I just got to do the slot. So, yeah. So that'll fit in there nicely. That should give me probably 1.5 mil to 2 mil clearance there to tighten it. So, let me go and fit this up and then we'll come back. Okay, welcome back out to the garage. It's Wednesday, didn't do anything yesterday because I had a couple of things to do before I had to go to Muswellbrook to visit my good friends down at Settling. Today I'm going to carry on with this. I was going to go into town and get the socket cap screws, but I can't. I don't really have the money. I know it's not very much, but a whole heap of subscriptions have come out of the account. I might go through that bucket there and see what I've got. Probably have some there. I might actually pour that out shortly and we'll go through it. And I want to try and get this drilled for get the stoppers. I don't know where I put that bit of bloody high speed. Oh, it's over on the bench. Get those fitted. But first, what I'm going to do is use one of these bolts, and I'm going to machine it down to fit in there and machine a point on it, so that once I've drilled and tapped that, I can just run it in there, stick the bolts in it, put it in, measure the position, and then give it a whack with the hammer so I know where to drill. I've got to take this off as well and drill that, do that slot, so I might get that knocked over today as well. See how far we go. Let me see if I can find some bolts first. Righto, I clamped that block in there, run a drill down and spotted where the 2 bolt holes are, so what I'll do is I'll come back a couple of mil, make it an 8 mil, sorry, 15 mil slot, whatever the width of that T is. So I'll make it a little bit longer because it won't really matter too much, because I'm going to have the locating holes here. So, and then I'll just cut the slot so it comes up to sort of right up to where the weld is underneath there. You can't, I won't worry about sticking the camera under there. So we can get this block. I'm going to take that up there too and put everything in ready to, I'll drill this first, I'll drill it and tap it. So it'll go, so it'll just slide backwards and forwards under there. It's only, like I said, it's only got to go 10 mil. So then when I cut the slot, I'll cut the slot out and then I'll do the corners, say 6 mil, that's the smallest I can go, and then I'll round these off. So I'll try and work it so when it comes back, it'll also rest up against the back of this, as well as the 2 pin holes, the locating holes. So I'll go and set the mill up. I apologise for the noise, but that bloody air conditioner's not exactly quiet, and it is cold out here. Yeah, I've got to go and set the mill up. So I might set up and drill that first, then pull this apart completely, take this up and mount it, and then dial it in on the sides to get my slot here. And I've got this mark here, that's as far back as the carriage goes, and that's as far forward. So, you know, like it'll go that far forward, so it'll just probably run into that weld, but that's fine. If I need to, I'll just cut a little piece, machine a little piece out the front of that. So then it just needs to slide back to there. So it'd be best if I drilled those first, drilled and tapped them. And I've got a couple of spare, I'm pretty sure they're high tensile too, M8 bolts. So I'll just go to, I mean that hole a little big now, but it doesn't matter, I'll just do the recess to put the head in, so it'll come through deep enough. So it will come through deep enough, so if I put it about there, that's more than enough thread to hold that base in. So let me go and set that up, and then I'll, once I get that up on the mill, I'll bring you back. I don't like the idea. It's not a machine. It's not a machine tap. If I had a machine tap, it'd be a different story. But that'll get it started square for me. So. Some of you watch these videos, and I do appreciate it. If you do, just leave a comment and tell me where you're from. I know I have one subscriber from the UK, Andre, Rusty Inventions. Welcome back, mate. And a couple of other fellas, I'm not sure exactly where they're from. like a couple that actually watch my videos. So yeah, just leave a comment and tell me where you're from. Alright, that's lovely. Put my drill back in and move it 20 millimeters. That should be spot on. It's 20. Yep, look at that. High range. Alright, let's take that out and we'll go down and make sure it fits. It will. I just have to, then I've got to bring the other bit up to recess it, so stay tuned. Righto, that fits fine. So what I'm going to do now is put this in. I'll have to take that cutting edge off. Put this in and take countersink those, and I think then what I'll do is I might cut off another piece of steel to do this cutting edge before I pull the vise out, because I'll need to machine it. So I'll bring you back when I'm ready to do this. I don't know if you can see how much that was bouncing around, but it's not much fun, let me tell you. So what I might do, righto, and that's all bolted in, and that's roughly the clearance it's going to have, so I've got more than enough, so I didn't really need to go through the bottom. So that's about the gap that's going to be in there when it clamps up. So now what's next? I've got the vise in there, that's right. I'm going to cut some more steel and make another cutter. Just bear with me while I cut the steel off. I'm contemplating this one as well, but I think that one will be fine. I'm just going to cut another one off to make this one. As I said, I want that where the cutting edge goes at the back of it, I want to leave some in there, a bit like that, so I can do a hole in it, or even a hole, just a straight hole to feed copper wire through. So when it comes to there, when it's cutting copper, as you'll see, it's a bit hard to, it'll be up there, so it'll clear a big enough hole to cut copper. So again, worst case is I'll make another one of these. It's no big deal. Stay tuned. That'll be good, easy to measure. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some more off this until I can machine the thing. So I'm going to take another 5-10 mil off it, just so I can. It's easier to machine it in one pass then, rather than have to do it in multiple passes. Alright, I've taken less than half a mil off each side. One side cleaned up nice, that side just got a witness. Ooh, it's warm. Cooling off. Yeah, so now what I'm going to do, so that can be the back anyway, and that can be the cutting edge. So what I'm going to do is I might even tack that on tack that on there so I can put it in here and use that to drill it. I'll see. I'll just let me set this up because we'll have to change the head out and everything, so I'll put the drill head in, get this set up once I've worked out how I'm going to do it, and then we'll come back. That's better. That fits down there nicely, out of the way. Well clear, because the other one had a problem, they were too close. That one will be much better. I'm thinking now I might drill this hole here for the copper. I might just measure. And there's the cutter. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take it out so I can put it back in to drill it. Hopefully it'll fit that way. It looks like it will. I'll go get the other ones. The Allen key. You think a bloke would remember to bring everything with you, don't you? It's lovely, look at that. I do like it when I have a wind sometimes. Oftentimes I can stuff things up, as I've prone to do, as you probably know, those that have been following me. I've got a habit of regularly buggering things up, so that one's not tight, but it's rutting, so if need be I can just stick the drill in there and no, that's fine. Just nip those down, I don't do them too tight. Now I need the hole to break through here, so I might just get the texture and mark it. Going to be chopping lots of little bits out of this, aren't I? So I want the hole about there. And I want to do it probably about 12mm-ish. So what I'll do, I'll take this off. I'll go and centre pop that, and we'll set up ready to go, and I'll bring you back. Stay tuned. Okay, this is done. I've been in, had some lunch. Finished that, it's bolted up. And when it goes in here, As you see, it'll go to about there, and I don't know if you can see in the back of that, there you'll see the cutter's gone over the other side of that hole. The only thing I might do, if I can work out how, is cut this bottom edge at an angle. I could even use the rotary burr just to give it more of a cutting edge. So I can't do that this side, unfortunately. So that's why I have that cut out there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to strip this off, unbolt it, go and strip the mill, and once I get this up there and set it up, we'll bring you back and we'll play it up there, eh? Alrighty, now ready to go here, all bolted on. I line this up by eye off the edge of the table. When I put the dial on it, between there and there was out 0.06, so I'm only going to cut it this long, so that translates to about 0.005 of an inch for those that use the old measurements, or bananas, sorry, as Curtis would say. That's pretty much spot on there. I'm going to put a smaller end mill in that just to rough that out, and when I'm done roughing it, I'll bring you back. This is painful. Okay, I've got that all done. I just did it off camera. The only thing I'm going to have to do is I can't get my slot any longer than that, and that's got to come forward more. So I'm just going to have to trim 10 mil off a bit off the front. That's okay. Off the front of the nut, the guide, the T-nut. It should come back almost far enough, but I'm just going to take a little 5 mil off the back, 10 mil off the front. So I've left plenty on there for that. What I'm going to try and do now, no, I'll have to take it all off because I've got to do the nut before I can do anything, because then I want to be able to mark it to drill the holes for the pins. The front pins will be fine, the front will be okay, because it'll hang over here, it'll hang over that, and the pins will sit up against the back there. That's for copper cutting. And I might even have to, this thing took a lot longer than it should have. It should have only taken me half an hour to do this, and it's taken me a good hour and a half. 2 hours actually. Because it's just, I put the end mill away. The end mill I used to rough it out, it's rooted, it's toast. That bloody all-cock. It's all cock, I don't know, it should be all bullshit. They're garbage, absolute garbage. You live and learn, don't you? Alright, I'm going to pull this apart. Yeah, I'm going to have to take this off. I'll just have to work out another way to drill those locating holes. I might be able to do them by hand if I'm careful enough. We'll see. But yeah, I need to get this functioning first. So just give me a minute and I'll no, actually I've got to reassemble it because I need to put the piston and get everything in to measure it and then have this in position and hit it with a hammer. So I'll take that out, pull everything off, machine the nut, and then I will go and make the 2 pins to mark the holes in this on the lathe, so stay tuned. Alright, got it all finished, and there we go. That's going back. That's probably not far as back as it needs to. It probably, I don't know, I'll have to have a look, but yeah, about there I think is where it's going to go. That's where it'll stop. And forward. Like I said, I'm going to put it back together, but you can see they're out off kilter a little bit. I don't know what I've done. It's probably moved when I've recessed it, but that's not going to stop the functionality of it. So as you can see, I'll just snip that up, and that's not going anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. And particularly once I put the stoppers in, high speed steel, you're going to need an awful lot of shear strength to break those. I mean, it's brittle, and you could probably break them if you hit them hard or impact them, or if you had a gap, but there's going to be no gap, and your shear strength on that is going to be phenomenal. So that's it. That's all I'm going to do today. I was going to do some other stuff, but I don't think I will now, because it's after 3, 3:15. I want to go and get all this video off from yesterday, like yesterday, Monday and today, and we'll come back out tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll be able to knock the rest of it up, get those pins sorted, get the holes in, get this all back on. Yeah, and then I'll cut this out, and then we could probably function test it. I might wire it up. Yeah, and I can crush some cans, maybe cut some copper, see how it goes anyway. Hopefully it'll be fine, but I've got to test the operation of it first, and then I might function test it with a few bits and pieces. Now, like this is going to look a whole lot better too once it's finished and I sandblast it. So anyway, that'll do for the day. There's lots of little fiddly work, but I've got a fair bit done. So thanks for hanging out again, and as always, see you in the next one. Stay safe. Peace.